It is just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. My name is Sanebo Ngwane, alongside Nomakabiso Ngambole. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. We're coming to you live from our Hospital Hill studios in Bamane, and these are your top stories tonight. His Majesty King Mswati III has met with the SADC Troika chairperson, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, and had deliberations on security and political developments in the kingdom. Her Majesty the Queen Mother has arrived in the country after concluding her official visit in 2 countries. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini was joined by other world leaders in official opening of this year's COP26, which is already underway in Glasgow, Scotland. And now the news in detail. His Majesty King Mswati III has met with the SADC Troika chairperson, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, and had deliberations on security and political developments in the kingdom. Now, the President paid a courtesy call to His Majesty at Mandvulo Grand Hall.
His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa paid a courtesy call on His Majesty King Mswati III at Mandvulo Grand Hall following the arrival at the King Mswati III International Airport. The President is on a working visit for deliberations on political and security developments in the kingdom. The visit follows a visit to the kingdom by a special envoy last month who had been directed to visit the kingdom by the President in his capacity as chair of the Southern African Development Community Organ on Politics, Defense and Security. The special envoy was led by Jeffrey Hadebe, who was representing the President. The SADC Troika organ has a mandate and duty to ensure peace and security in the region. Hence, it is for that reason that His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa has landed in the kingdom, as the country is currently faced with political unrest that have been going on for the past few months. His Majesty ceremony, as it has been announced by the Indvuna. On the news, I'm Polide Mazia with Tabiso Dlamini at Mandvulo Grand Hall, Lozita Palace.
Her Majesty the Queen Mother has arrived in the country after concluding her official visit in 2 countries. Now, Her Majesty arrived at the King Mswati III International Airport.
Arrival at the airport, which is located in the eastern tip of the kingdom, on Monday evening. The Queen Mother was welcomed by Emakosikati to His Majesty the Ingonyama and Balondolozi. Her Majesty arrived back in Eswatini after concluding her official 2-leg visit to the Kingdom of Morocco and the Republic of Mozambique. Also present to extend a warm welcome to Her Majesty were Their Royal Highnesses Banfabe Nkosi, Emazinyane, and the Lubombo Regional Administrator Themba Msibi. The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku led cabinet ministers in witnessing Her Majesty's safe return. On the news, I'm Sandile Makanya reporting with Zole Masuku at King Mswati III International Airport.
The Prime Minister of Eswatini, Cleopas Dlamini, was joined by other heads of state and governments for the official opening of the Congress of Parties COP26, which is already underway in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, during the ceremony, speakers after speakers called other leaders into action, saying this is the time to act. Now, a full and detailed report on that story shall follow promptly. For now, we continue with the news. Now, the Ministry of Home Affairs notifies the general public and residents of Eswatini about the official launch of a civil registration mop-up exercise to be held on Wednesday, the 3rd of November 2021 at Mbofu Chiefdom under the Mtlangatane constituency in the Hor region. And the notice was made by the Ministry of Home Affairs Principal Secretary Nhlanhla Nxumalo, who said the exercise will be officially launched by Minister Princess Lindiwe.
Hor region. The project is themed Be Wise, Register, Appear and Secure a Bright Future. Will later be rolled out in all over 360 chiefdoms countrywide, and a schedule will be issued in due course. The aim of the project is to improve national birth registration levels and ensure an updated and credible national population register. Children and adults mostly affected by the registration or by the non-registration or delayed birth registration will directly benefit from this exercise. Consequently, low birth registration coverage in Eswatini will be improved by ensuring that all legal citizens are properly documented. Additionally, the exercise will reduce statelessness and ensure that all Emaswati have unlimited access to social services such as education, health and financial services, among others. The mop-up exercise will focus on the following areas: birth registration by and large, late marriages registration, guidance on residence permit, citizenship and asylum seekers applications, as well as information on other services offered by the ministry will also be made available. The ministry wishes to encourage all Emaswati to take advantage of this opportunity and ensure that every child and senior citizen have all the required national documents for a better life. The ministry remains committed to servicing the nation and giving equal access to public services countrywide, irrespective of age, gender and status.
The Undersecretary in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Anthony Masileli, says government is committed to improving vocational training, which is why professionals from outside the country were brought in to train local electricians on the standards of grade testing. Now, the Undersecretary was speaking during a training workshop sponsored by the Republic of China on Taiwan through the Taiwan Technical Mission, which was held in Mountain Inn in Babane.
Electricians from different parts of the country were trained by an expert from Namibia, courtesy of the Taiwan Technical Mission, with the support of government on the standards of grade testing. The Undersecretary in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Anthony Masilela, says they decided to invest in the training because this will give confidence to employers if they know that the electricians are fully aware of the grading standards. He continues to say government is committed to improving vocational training.
Sine-expect le qhamuka eNamibia lehambe nawo onke lamave nathi ke seyikhona ke kude sisita yona ke ibuke kakhulu letindzaba nje dabogezi sokukhona lokho ukuthi nasithi umuntu siyamhlola etindzabeni dabogezi sisuke sihlola ini kufuna abe nakhono lini nje kuze kuthiwa lona ke cha no sesingamethemba simnikete certificate ukuthi cha lona uyakwadi kufaka gesi nalo hlangothi lolu lukhona sithi ke asiluphakamise luvele litokhona kokuthi nemaswati nana nawo sangakhona kubuya a-grade test lana ekwatiwe kokuthi ke sebananati emakhono nabo noma ngabe ke bekaqhashiwe umuntu lo nasaqhamuka nale certificate la sasitholela kithi nebelumbi sebatamethemba noma ke nebaqhashi sebatamethemba ukuthi lona vele uyakhona unanali likhono nali.
Chief of the Taiwan Technical Mission, Fernando Yes, says vocational skills are important for the country's development.
Is safe. I believe Taiwan can. Taiwan is smaller than kingdom. Eswatini also can do this. If only we can go the right way. We can do right thing. Like now, this workshop, we're trying to do right thing to develop our country.
The Taiwan Technical Mission says it will continue supporting vocational skills in the country. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ngamandla with Mbongwa Dube Mbabane.
The National Agricultural Marketing Board has forged a working relationship with the Indian High Commission now. The two countries are looking into ways to benefit through exchanging indigenous food.
On Tuesday, India celebrated the day which emphasizes on food for health, and it was during this celebration that Eswatini and India look into indigenous food exchange. Citizens of both countries enjoy the indigenous dishes.
So that struck a chord with me, and I thought we should do something together, to collaborate and do something together. So that's what today happened. This is how today happened. So we today try to highlight all your traditional food, cooked in two different ways, one in your local style and one in Indian style. And then we brought in again a group of people who are my friends and a group of people who are Maria Dolores' friends. So that we can have a real India-Eswatini collaboration, and that's what happened.
National Agriculture Marketing Board Chief Executive Officer Spepiso Dlamini encourages the Maswati to eat indigenous food.
Thuthukisako thina kaNampoti sithi limela imarket noma ngabe kuyathi milela kona kuphathe kahle wendele kusithi okhona ku market siyathi ke kusi letekulima lete loku indigenous lokuthi milelako lokukhulu naloku nje kwesintu lesivamise ukulima lombila nje lobovu wesintu ligusha imfuso lekhona leminingi kuyadzingeka ukuthi sikudle kulesigaba lesingiso so siyakhuthaza abalimi ukuthi kukhona labantu abafuna kulimela i-high-end market lesisho njalo ngesingisi bese kuba khona labafunela kulima i-niche market.
Dlamini proceeded to call on the Maswati to buy food from community markets as they are fresh. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Langamandla, Mbabane.
Beautiful Kingdom of Eswatini. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the news continues. Stay with us.
I do the most. Watch local TV on the go with the Eswatini TV app for only 20 emalangeni per month. Do the most with Eswatini TV app. Download from Google Play Store or App Store.
We're good together. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Eye on SADC, telling the African story from an African perspective. This is the only news program bringing you news, views and interviews straight from the countries where it happened. Join me in Ndishishi Hamfungu as I take you on a journey across Southern Africa. That's on Eye on SADC, news of SADC from SADC.
In the sea, hundreds of species and ecosystems have disappeared. There, life runs its course and tries to adapt to the planet's fast metamorphosis. The sea has a huge power to regenerate itself. Although for this to occur, of course, it needs human beings to give it a chance. Man has flown into space, has yearned to discover planets and galaxies, but he has destroyed what was closest and could actually have saved our submerged universe.
Sanmanan, my name is India-Eswatini.
It's your boy DJ Sana, aka DEC. Catch me and the gang on a brand new show.
Amazing show. I'm so excited about first episode.
It's hot new show for Studio One.
As you guys know, we do cover all things music and entertainment. We're going to be doing the news aspect specifically. Our news is divided into two segments, into international news and then local news.
I'm going to be on the cozy couch, hosting all the guests that we have on the show.
Thanks for joining me on the cozy couch. Your performance, how did you feel about that? I loved it.
Honestly, I was ecstatic, man.
I'll be dealing with the hottest videos for the week. At number 1, we have Tenderness featuring Willem Seni for Love Me.
We have the same thing. It's over with the both of us.
Number 1 DJ in Africa.
See you every Saturday at 6 p.m.
on Eswatini TV.
Studio One.
Studio One.
Studio One.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching the 8 o'clock news bulletin here at Eswatini TV. Now we continue with the news. There have been challenges in the construction of the Lukula Big Bend Road and Lontlupego Stegi Road, which will cost government over 70 million emalangeni. Now these challenges include the relocation of a shop away from the road reserve at Mbolonjeni, which costs about 600,000 emalangeni. Now this is contained in the Finance Sessional Committee report on the rehabilitation and upgrading of the two roads.
The report of the Finance Sessional Committee on the two roads in the Lubombo region, one being from Lukula to Big Bend and the other from Lontlupego to Sitegi, states that the rehabilitation and upgrades on the former are for 38 kilometers and 12 kilometers for the latter road. This rehabilitation and upgrading of the two public roads has come with challenges which the report reflects will cause government to dig deeper into the public purse. The report shows 7 challenges which include the relocation of an existing shop away from the road reserve at Mbolonjeni. The report states that this cost about 600,000 emalangeni. Other relocations include existing services of the Eswatini Water Services Corporation, which cost over 4 million emalangeni, and the acceleration of works due to delays and relocation of Eswatini Post and Telecommunications Corporation services, which came with a bill of over 1 million emalangeni. Other challenges listed in the report are the increased quantities of construction material from original estimates as a result of the occurrence of unsustainable founding conditions along the Lukula Big Bend Road. This came at a fee of about 24 million emalangeni. There is another cost of about 24 million emalangeni for contract price adjustment to cater for increase in prices of materials. Government has to foot a bill of over 5 million emalangeni for extension of time due to delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. This bill has passed and will now go to Senate. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela, Mbabane.
Now, on another note, the construction of the Skunu-Sanhlangano Road is expected to resume in January 2022 if all processes can be completed on time. Now, this is because the House of Assembly has passed the Finance Sessional Committee report on the construction of the road. The road construction began in 2013 but stopped due to payment delays, among other reasons. Our reporter Temgosi Mavimbela has more on that story.
The report of the Finance Sessional Committee on the Sikunu-Sanhlangano Road states that the construction of the 42-kilometer road was initially awarded in 2013. It was expected to be completed in 24 months. The contractor was Kukhanya Civil Engineering. However, there was a mutual agreement to terminate the contract last year. This was because of challenges which included delays in the payments of certificates during the course of the project, lack of capacity of the contractor to adequately staff the project, and lack of capacity of the contractor to adequately supply plant and equipment to the project. The report states that about 650 million emalangeni is needed for the project, which will be carried out through public-private partnership. The report also states that the road will be constructed in 18 months. The loan will be repaid in 15 years with an initial fee of 2%. The report states that the project initially cost around 459 million emalangeni in 2013 and it stopped at 50% completion. The report also states that due to heavy rains, the state of the road has deteriorated further to less than 50%. The report goes on to state that a budget for undertaking a forensic audit on this project was allocated to the Auditor General's office. It is in the report that government is expected to repay an amount to the tune of 300 million emalangeni to the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, which loaned government the money for the project. The project has now been awarded to Inyatsi Construction and the House of Assembly has passed the loan bill. It will now be debated by senators before being passed into law. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela, Mbabane.
The Prime Minister of Eswatini, Cleopas Dlamini, was joined by other heads of state and governments for the official opening of the Congress of Parties, which is COP26, which is already underway in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, during the ceremony, speakers after speakers called other leaders into action, saying this is time to act. Now, the National Emergency Response Council on HIV and AIDS has met different health professionals to look for strategies of ensuring that people on antiretrovirals continue getting their medication on time. Now, the Executive Director, Kanya Mabuza, says they decided to convene the meeting after realizing that the number of people taking medication has declined and new HIV infections are on the rise. Mabuza was speaking at Mountain Inn in Mbabane.
The rise in new HIV infections and the lack of commitment from people taking the antiretroviral treatment has concerned the National Emergency Response Council on HIV and AIDS. The director, Kanya Mabuza, says it is for this reason that they decided to convene a meeting with health professionals from different departments and health institutions to find ways to correct this. He further says their discussions were centered on how they will work on HIV and AIDS issues since the COVID-19 pandemic shows no signs of coming to an end. He further says they also want to strategize on how they will work next year.
Nasihlaselekile sibonile ukuthi nekusebenza kakhulu lapha ezibhedlela emaklinikhi kutsinzekile abantu bangakhona ukuta kumbe usho bafikile ukhanza ukuthi labanye bakhala ngase khona labangakutholini. So sitawuthola ke manje report sonke nje ngekuhlangana kwethu ngekuhlukana kwethu ukuthi usebenza njani umuntu lapha asebenza ngakhona. Sho sister singathola ke report bese siyabuhle COVID langene kebuya singakhona njani ukuthi sikhona ukuthi sibambisane kungalimala njengoba bekulimala nje basho ukuthi kuyalimala. Kwesibili ke sithola tindzaba ukuthi futhi kunebantu kumbe bakhala ngasabasawathola amaphilisi. Labanye bakhala ukuthi tinombolo ngase tiyakhuphuka futhi tiyetula te-HIV akufanele kwendeke lokho. Sitawuvala ukuthi kuhamba njani nekuthi futhi singabambisana njani. Sitaphinda sibuke tindzaba tetimali. I-COVID isilimente kakhulu etimalini. Sifuna sikhona lokuplana ukuthi nakwendeke siqhubekele simo sitawumisa njani. Liqiniso ukuthi akufuneki ukuthi abantu bahlale bethe amaphilisi. Akufanele futhi ukuthi kube nabantu abathole HIV. So sitawuba le strategy sethu kwenye ukuthi sitawumisa njani nangabe kuyendeka ukuthi i-COVID iyabuya nokuthi abantu futhi abasakhona kuya esibhedlela kuyothola futhi lesito ofuna balithole.
He encourages eMaSwati to protect themselves from getting HIV, adding that antiretrovirals should be taken religiously. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ngamandla with Mbongwa Dube Mbabane.
Right now, let's take a look at our financial report. Welcome back. Now we take a look at news making headlines in the world of sports. The communications officer of Eswatini Rugby Association, Pumlan Kamete, says their program known as Vocational has started work. Kamete was speaking after government has allowed other sporting activities, including rugby, to return.
The Rugby Association did not waste any time preparing to return to action after almost 2 years without any action. The association started a program called Vocational, which aims to bring this to speed players and also recruit new players for the sport. Communication officer of the association, Pumlani Kumete, says the program started well as they managed to record good numbers in the first week.
It is interesting that from the 4 community centers that we have, 2 community centers were able to begin their activities the past weekend. And we can confidently say it was all a success, because in total we received more than 40 players that took part in the training sessions that were held in the 2 community centers, namely Mabane Center and Luvet Fogoloko Center. This program is going to run up until January next year, whereby we are going to be having a series of training sessions and a series of games.
Kumete says after the program, they will then next year in January organize a mini tournament known as Rugby 7. He says the program will also help the national team at the end of it all. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizum Sibi. Babane.
The Eswatini Football Association is encouraging regional teams to register their players earlier. Now, the association's communications officer, Muzirat Debe, says teams should not wait until the last day to register because they make lots of errors. Adebe was speaking to Eswatini TV journalists in Babane.
Football in the regions has been suspended in a period of almost 2 years because of COVID-19. The government has since allowed them to return to action. The Football Association had previously announced that football in the regions will be allowed to return in November. The association is now calling for teams to register in time as the transfer window will be closed this month.
Encourage the football teams to register wherever they are participating, as long as you have your laptop and you are also connected, or you are online, you have internet. You can do your registration rather than what was being done in the yesteryears where you were expected to come to the offices of the Football Association to register. But due to the advancement of technology, now you can be in a position to register your players wherever you are, as long as we have those facilities. Also, let's remind the teams not to try to do the registration on the last day of the registration period, because that also can make their process to be a little bit strenuous. It's better to do it as we speak, do it early, so that by the time the registration date arrives or closes, you'll find that we have done all the logistics that pertaining the registration process.
Hadebe concluded by encouraging teams to follow all the COVID restrictions put in place by the government. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizum Sibi. Babane.
Now, with that sport news, we come to the conclusion of our news bulletin at 8 here at Eswatini TV. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of our news making headlines tonight. His Majesty King Mswati III has met with the SADC Troika chairperson, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, and had deliberations on security and political developments in the kingdom. Her Majesty, the Queen Mother, has arrived in the country after concluding her official visit in 2 countries. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini was joined by other world leaders in official opening of this year's COP26, which is already underway in Glasgow, Scotland. Well, that brings us to the conclusion of our news bulletin at 8 here at Eswatini TV. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. We shall cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the transmission crew at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.